शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Nectar of Instruction. Today is the third class, and up till now we have discussed the history of Updeshamrit, which was actually spoken by the Lord himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And then we saw the relevance of Nectar of Instruction in the four books of the Bhakti Shastri, the Prasthanatraya we saw, and then Sadhya and Sadhana, Bhagavan, Sambandha, Bhakti, Abhidheya, Prema, Provision, these three terms, Sambandha, Abhidheya, Provision, these concepts we saw. And then we began the discussion on the preface. In the preface, we first understood the term Upadeshamrit. What does this mean, Upadesh? Why it has been coined as Upadesh, not Sandeshamrit or Adeshamrit? Because these very sweet and intimate way, as one friend, loving friend addresses another friend, these were that mood in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed, and that's why it is Upadesh Amrit. We saw the overview of the 11 verses based on the definition of Uttama Bhakti. Then, based on Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who has written his commentary, the Piyush Varshini Tika, Vritti, sorry. And then we also saw the analysis of the verses of Updeshamrit based on Bhajan Rahasya. How, how important this book is, by which studying how all our anarthas are destroyed. The four types of anarthas are destroyed. And then we began with the preface, first paragraph. We discussed quite elaborately what this statement means. The Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. We are Rupanugas. What is the meaning of Rupanuga? A little bit of the glory of Rupa Goswami, this beautiful pastime, and why, Rupa Goswami is given this position. We discussed this, and then glorification of Rupa Goswami, Priya Swarupe, very beautiful verse. And then Kaviraj Goswami, in the beginning of the 19th chapter of the Madhya Leela, glorifies how Rupa Goswami was empowered. And then we further discussed paragraph 1, how Gauriya are Gaudiya. Gaudiya are worshippers of Srimati Radharani. So there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then there are the six Goswamis, and then there is Narottam Das Thakur, and then there are other acharyas, and then we come in the Guru Shish Parampara. And our parampara is the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. It is not another fifth Sampradaya. It is the essence of all the four Sampradayas. And we are a sub-branch of the Madhva Sampradaya, and that's why we are called as the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And what it means to be Rupa Raghunatha Pade. That means to study the literatures, and then we can understand Yugala Pariti. So there are these three things: Bhakta Padaduli, Bhakta Padajal, and Bhakta Bhukta Vashesh. But there is the fourth one, the literatures given by the Goswamis, especially our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So to study the literatures given by our founder Acharya and the previous Acharyas is to sit at their lotus feet and to follow those instructions and apply them in our life means to actually serve their lotus feet. And then we discussed the benediction which Mahaprabhu has come to give is the science of Krishna, Krishna Tattva. How Krishna consciousness is not some sentimentalism or fanatism, but it is a science. It's a Krishna Tattva. And Yugala Priti, Mahaprabhu is absorbed in the mood of the best of the gopis, that is Srimati Radharani. And in order to understand Mahaprabhu's mood and follow his footsteps, you have to follow the six Goswamis. So this is where we ended our discussion yesterday. And now we will take up paragraph 2. Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Upadesh Amrit, the nectar of instructions to follow. I'll read this one also and then we will discuss. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the 8 verses known as Shikshakshtaka, Rupa Goswami gave us Upadesh Amrit so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. Now, among the 6 Goswamis, if you see, Srila Sanatan Goswami is the elder brother of Rupa Goswami, and he is the foremost among the 6 Goswamis. And even Rupa Goswami considers Sanatan Goswami as his spiritual master. But we are not called as Sanatanuga, but we are called as Rupanuga. Why Rupa Goswami is being, given the status, that he is the leader of the 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami. What is the reason? And why not Sanatan Goswami? So anyone would like to share their thoughts about this? One. Anyone else also? What is the reason? Sunandan Prabhuji, would like to share something? What is the reason? Why Rupa Goswami is considered as the leader among the 6 Goswamis, and why not Sanatan Goswami? Rupa Goswami considers Sanatan Goswami as a spiritual master, but why? Why it is so? Yes, Nandini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam. Prabhuji, as yesterday in the pastime, pastime was mentioned. So, as per that, like Rupa Goswami had understood the mood of Lord Chaitanya perfectly.
Yeah, that's also true. So Rupa Goswami was given 10 days instruction in Prayagraj, where the
Prayagraj.
happening. But Sanatan
And
Goswami was also given instructions in
No,
Varanasi for 2 months.
that mood when that pastime is that when Lord Chaitanya sings a song
Yeah.
and Rup Goswami understood what is
So
Mahaprabhu's mood.
it also means that Sanatana Goswami did not understand the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sanatana Goswami also wrote literatures, followed the instructions of Mahaprabhu. Why this special status to Rupa Goswami and not what is the reason? Yeah, you're true in one sense, but we would like to know more, something more deeper. Yes, Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Prabhuji, I'll just try this. Rupa, one of the incarnation of Rupa Manjari, the Ashtasakis of Radharani.
He is the incarnation of Rupa Manjari. So what does that signify?
Yeah, like the topmost Ashtasakis, the confidential maidservants of Srimati Radharani.
Can you speak a little loudly, please?
So that's what Rupa Goswami was an incarnation of Rupa Manjari, the Ashtasakis, the
Yeah,
maidservants of Srimati Radharani.
yeah. So
So basically, without taking shelter of Rupa Goswami, one cannot enter into pastimes of Lord Chaitanya.
you have to speak a little clearly and distinctly. Otherwise, the words are, I'm not able to clearly hear the words what you're speaking.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah. Now it's better.
I'm saying he was an incarnation of Rupa Manjari. Without taking shelter of Srila Rupa Goswami, one cannot enter into the confidential pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Radharani, Radha Krishna pastimes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Rupa Goswami is considered as the Rasacharya. Uh, it is Rupa Goswami who shall pastimes of Radha and Krishna. He has witnessed these pastimes as Rup Manjari, and the rasas and the mellows, what are relished. Rup Goswami has not just written it; he has witnessed them, he has experienced them in his heart, and he, he has actually given that in his literatures, like the Updeshamrit and Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So this is first reason. Secondly, Sanatan Goswami is our Sambandha Acharya. Rup Goswami is our Abhidheya Acharya. And Raghunath Das Goswami is our Prayojan Acharya. The Sambandha deity is Madan Mohan, the Abhidheya deity is Govinda, and the Prayojan is Gopinath. Now, I'm just giving an example of uh, the Sambandha Abhidheya, Prayojan, and the three Acharyas connected to it. How do we understand this? Now, Radha and Krishna's pastimes happen in the field of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is the field where Krishna exhibits his topmost pastimes. Just like in a cricket match, the most important thing is the field. There has to be a field. The stadium has to be there. The audience have to be there. The entire stadium has to be ready. And the batsmen have to enter in, and the batsmen and the opposite team, the bowlers have to be there. There have to be activities. So there is the field and there is the activities in the field. Now, as long as there are no activities in the field, neither the batsman and the bowler nor the audience can relish, rasa in the form of, the rasa of the games I'm speaking. So similarly, the field is very important, uh, which is established by Sanatan Goswami. But the activities in the field where you exchange rasa, that is what is given by Rupa Goswami. And that's why Rupa Goswami becomes important. Although without the field, we cannot do anything. Without establishing Sambandha, there is no question of Abhideya, but Abhideya remains central. And only when you do sadhana, you attain sadhya. So sadhya, when you hit the six, you win, and you attain the prayojan. So then there is the prayojan like that. So field is important, but the activities in the field, that is exchange of rasa and Rupa Goswami being Rasacharya. That is why Rupa Goswami is considered the leader of the Goswamis, although, Sanatan Goswami is his elder, and Rupa Goswami considers Sanatan Goswami to be his spiritual master. Another thing which we can see here in just this one paragraph, which is just 2 sentences, Prabhupada is equating, practically Updeshamrit to, Shikshashtaka given by Mahaprabhu, practically on the same level. Prabhupada is more or less putting Updeshamrit and Shikshashtakam on the same pedestal, which seems like, uh, too high, right? There are the 8 verses of the Shikshashtaka, and definitely we should study, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a commentary on it called as a Sambodhana Bhashya. And then there is a Anuvriti Tika of Bhakti Siddhanta Sri Thakur. One should study the Shikshashtaka, the 8 verses. But in the Chaitanya Charitamrit Antyalila, chapter 20, entire chapter 20 is devoted to the Shikshashtaka verses. The whole discussion of chapter 20 of the Antyalila is there. And just 11 verses of Updeshamrit is being given equal status to Shikshashtaka. That means how important it is for us to study Updeshamrit. And I have highlighted, to guide our activities, he has given Updeshamrit to follow. And then he says, by studying Updeshamrit and by following Updeshamrit, we can become pure Vaishnavas. Just by, this one book, if you thoroughly, deeply understand it, Updeshamrit, you can become a pure Vaishnava. All you need is this one small booklet. First time when one of our sannyasis was teaching us Updeshamrit, this is way back in 2006, I'm saying. And he mentioned very interestingly that, every year one should study this book. I saw this small booklet, it's a very small book, pocket-sized book. I said, I can just finish it reading in one day or 2 days. What's the big deal? 11 verses. Commentary is quite brief also, you can see. It's not a big book. How many pages is there? It's not a A4 size book with, it's just, this is just 190 pages. Small book. So I was really surprised, every year you have to study. And then I just followed the instruction, and every year I started studying it. For many, many years I did. And somehow during the COVID time, 2021, I had an opportunity to teach Bhakti Shastri Updeshamrit. And over a period of 2-3 years, I taught it for 4-5 times. And then gradually I started understanding the depth of Updeshamrit. And I found this is as deep as an ocean. And that is why just by, studying this Updeshamrit, we can become pure Vaishnavas. Please remember that. And don't take it lightly. So in one of the Rath Yatras in San Francisco in 1975, Prabhupada held this Rath Yatra, and just seeing Jagannath, the public there just got attracted. Their heart was attracted, and they just came following the Rath, and they came and sat, and they were hearing Prabhupada lecture. And Prabhupada spoke something very unique there. He said, anyone can chant Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he has achieved the perfection of life. He has become a pure devotee, he says. But if you want to preach, you should read my textbooks, he said, Updeshamrit, Bhaktirasamrita Sindhu, Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada's statement is very profound. So by chanting Hare Krishna, when we say chant Hare Krishna, we mean chanting the pure name. So we don't need the philosophy, because there is a natural attraction of the soul towards the Supreme Soul. And these, Westerners, they did not know who is Jagannath, but there was attraction and they came just following the Rath. So, Updeshamrit is that book by which we can study and, you know, become pure Vaishnavas. And we can say, in one sense, by regularly reading Prabhupada's Updeshamrit, we can accelerate the purification and chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because how to chant also is given by Rupa Goswami, Kintu Adarat Anudinam. So by following the instructions given in Updeshamrit, we can chant the Shuddhanam and become pure Vaishnavas. So that's the point which is being emphasized and highlighted here. Okay, so that's regarding paragraph 2. If you have any questions, you're free to raise your hand. Okay, now coming to paragraph 3. Now, Prabhupada, if you remember in paragraph 1, had quoted Narottam Das Thakur Rupa Raghunath Pade, and he had mentioned that the highest activities are the activities of Radha and Krishna, the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Yugala Preeti, he had mentioned. His pastimes with the gopis. And, if you want to understand Yugala Preeti, it all begins from where? It all begins from first controlling the mind and senses. So Prabhupada is now highlighting that in paragraph 3. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. So I was mentioning, if you remember yesterday, what is preface? Any book should have usually a foreword, the preface, the introduction, table of contents, and sometimes afterword is also there. But the foreword is given by some other personality who is from that field, and he has gone through the book and he's giving his recommendation and experience about the book. The preface is written by the author himself as to purpose of writing this book. What are the qualifications of the writer, qualifications of the readers, and then how he came about writing the book. So Prabhupada, there are many statements in the preface you will come across why Prabhupada has written this book. But there is no introduction. And I mentioned introduction means basically, the table of contents of the entire book in summary. It introduces all the topics which are there in the book and maybe the first topic also. So in one sense, paragraph 3 is the introduction to Updeshamrit, especially the introduction to the first verse of Updeshamrit, because Vacho Vegam, Manasa, Krodha Vegam, Jivva Vegam, Udarapasta Vegam, how to control the mind and senses. So that is being spoken. So Shama and Dhamma. Shama means, the control of the mind, and Dhamma is the control of the senses. So Shama and Dhamma is very important. And especially in the path of Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga, and how this is exactly executed in the path of Bhakti, because there is no Anga of Shama and Dhamma in Bhakti Yoga, but we'll come to that when we discuss verse 1. Okay. But generally, one has to control the mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, Prabhupada says one cannot. It's not, Prabhupada doesn't say maybe one to some degree can make advancement. Prabhupada says one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. So if one doesn't control the mind and senses, he just cannot make any advancement. It's a very deep statement and one has to meditate on this. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. So here Prabhupada is mentioning how the mind is always affected by the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance. And we'll come to this a little later in the form of the slide. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Satoguna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami. So here again, how to become free from the influence of modes of passion and ignorance? By coming to the mode of goodness. How one can come to the mode of goodness? By following the instructions of Rupa Goswami. And then Prabhupada says, then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. It will be revealed. So this is referring to, in one sense, I would say, Bhagavad Gita 10.8 to 10.11. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya dridhavrata. No, sorry. Machchitta matagata prana bodhayanta parasparam katashyanti mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Tesham eva anukampartam aham ajnanam tama nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena vasupar. No. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatayam pritipurokam dadami buddhi yogam. So everything will be revealed, that dadami buddhi yogam 10.10 and tesham eva anukampartam. So these four verses of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Chaturshloki Gita, so there is revelation which will happen. So this is what it is mentioning here. And one will get the inner inspiration and inner direction from the Chaitya Guru. And that definitely has to be confirmed with the spiritual master through Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So that is what, Prabhupada is, speaking here, that everything, how to make further progress will be revealed. Revelation, he's speaking about revelation here. And of course, one cannot say that, I got some divine inspiration or I have intuition or I'm inspired something. One has to, it can be true and the Lord can reveal to the sincere sadhaka, but the qualifications are very clear. Machitta matagata prana, and then tesham bhajatam priti purvakam, all that. But definitely one should consult his spiritual authorities, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and then take further steps. But Prabhupada is really speaking something very, very deep here. Further progress will be revealed. Now, coming to this point, everyone within this material world is engrossed in the mode of passion and ignorance. I have here a slide. How there are actions in the three modes. In goodness, one contemplates first and then takes action. Whereas in passion, one acts and then contemplates. Oh, why did I do that? In ignorance, there is no contemplation, there is no action. So let me give you an example. I was just mentioning how these three modes are, psychological forces acting on the mind. Suppose you're sitting in a theater and you're watching a movie. Of course, I understand that devotees go and watch movies, but I'm just giving an example. And suddenly there's a fire in the theater and everything is pitch dark. There is only the little projector light, and they announce that the fire is actually in the exit doors in the building. Please don't panic. And there's an alarm which is ringing, and there is a voice spoken in the speaker sound system that next to the screen there is a small door there. Please take that to exit and come out. Now, suddenly, when there is a fire and there is an alarm, different people will act based on the influence of the modes. The one in the mode of passion suddenly reacts impulsively and he starts rushing to the exit door, which is always backside in the movie theater. And there is a huge jam and he doesn't attentively here, what was the announcement? It was not the exit door backside, it was the exit door in front of the projector screen. So he just starts rushing and people start rushing and there is a whole stampede and people are trying to, but actually if you go from the backside exit door, the fire is there backside. So a person in the mode of passion acts and then thinks, oh, why did I go this side? Actually the announcement was that you should go from the front. In front of the screen, there's a small exit door. But the person in the mode of ignorance, you know, he panics and he's seeing this side, that side. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He can't think. And he neither moves to the back exit door nor to the exit door, which is near the screen. So there is neither contemplation nor action. But the person in the mode of goodness, he's in the mode of satuguna. He doesn't panic. He just very carefully hears the instruction. He observes. And then, oh, they had told that you should take the exit door, which is near the screen, that is in the front. And then he heads towards that. So this is how the influence of the modes happens. And based on the influence of modes, there is action. And generally, a person who is in the mode of passion, he does action and then contemplates, oh, why did I do that? I should have thought. So a person in the mode of goodness, he first contemplates deeply, he deeply meditates, and then he acts. Then he acts. So this is about, one example of how everyone is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. How do we understand this? Of course, in the Bhagavad Gita, there is the entire 14th chapter about the three modes. So this is a little bit in brief about paragraph 3. Again, any questions anyone has up till now about paragraph 2 and 3, what we have discussed? Any questions and clarifications? Okay, so now we'll come to the last paragraph of the preface. So I also mentioned how Prabhupada has included his introduction in the preface by speaking about the first verse of Updeshamrit in this paragraph. Okay, let's come to now paragraph 4. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. This is one of the most profound philosophical statement, and Prabhupada also repeats this in the Nectar of Devotion. And probably this is, you can say, the Paribhasha Sutra, which we should carry always in our heart. Just like, Mahaprabhu instructed that one should wear this Trinadapi Sunichena as a garland in his neck and always follow this instruction. So Prabhupada is speaking here about a very profound philosophy, and we'll have to study this. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Okay, let us now do this exercise. Who would like to, repeat this statement? Raise your hands. It's such an important statement. Who would like to repeat it? I'll share the screen, but who would like to repeat it? Okay, Vivek Prabhuji. Yes. Yes. No, your audio is not clear. 1 second, maybe. Yeah.
Krishna, bro.
Yes, yes. Yeah, now you can speak.
Yeah. So
Yes, Prabhuji.
I have to repeat this one. Okay, this one,
Yes,
bro.
yes. I want you to repeat.
Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower.
Okay. Jitendra Khatri Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower.
Okay. Now, try to meditate on the statement, because Prabhupada is saying if you want to advance in Krishna consciousness, it only depends on your attitude. Now, what is this attitude? Attitude can be our perspective, but in a deeper sense, attitude means our buddhi, intelligence. What is our perspective? How do we see that from the lens of our intelligence? Samabuddhi vishishyate in the Bhagavad Gita 6.10, Surin Midra Udasina. Let me open up that verse. In the Bhagavad Gita, 10, not 10, 6.10. Not 6.10, 6.9. Surin Mitrari Udasina Madhyastha Dvesha Bandhushu Sadhushu Apicha Papeshu Samabuddhir Vishishyate. Samabuddhi, having equal intelligence, Vishishyate, is far advanced. You see? So this attitude is what? Perspective or buddhi, intelligence. It's very interesting, right? Perspective. And your perspectives are, depending on your perception of the mind and evaluating through the intelligence. So you can understand that this statement of attitude means buddhi or intelligence or perspective. So in Hindi, ISKCON is what? Antarashtriya Shri Krishna Bhavanamrita Sangha. Antarashtriya. Antarashtriya means international. Shri Krishna Bhavanamrit Sangha. So Bhavanamrit means our consciousness. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. As in the Gita also it is there, 8.6. So whatever our bhava, buddhi or perspective or attitude or our consciousness is there at the time of death, that will determine our next body. So that's how this deep is this statement. And I'll give you some examples. I remember again in our discussion, which we had first time on Nectar of Instruction given by one of our sannyasis, he made us repeat this statement: advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. And this one statement was discussed for 6 hours. That means we had 6 classes on this one statement. Can you imagine that? And somehow it was our misfortune that it was not recorded. But based on this one statement, we had a 6 days discussion of 6 hours on this one statement with various scriptural quotations. So I gave you one quotation that is 6.9, and then I gave another quotation that is 8.6. How that bhava means consciousness or buddhi. So there is also an English saying that your altitude doesn't depend on your aptitude, but your attitude. Attitude means what is your perspective? How do you see things? So there is one famous story, whether it's true or no, but the lesson is very important, that once, Bata company sent its main sales manager, operation sales manager, could go to Africa and find out the prospects of starting a manufacturing plant and selling sleepers there in Africa. So he went there and he saw that practically people don't wear any footwear. They are all barefoot walking. So he came back and reported to the director that, there is no perspective, there's no prospects of, having a factory and marketing our products because nobody wears footwear. So this was his report. And some of the directors said, let me send another salesperson, and he sent another one, and this person went and he saw that the same thing he saw. And he came back in Eureka. He was in ecstasy and said, there is tremendous scope for sales and having a plant there, because nobody wears footwear. So everyone we can sell. So both of them saw the same thing, but one saw with a negative attitude, nobody's going to buy because nobody wears footwear. But others saw from a positive perspective, attitude, that nobody is wearing, so we have, huge market. So that is how it is. How is our vritti, our manovritti, as we say in Hindi? What is our attitude? So I'm just skipping, now, is the glass full or empty? Yeah. Now, actually, this glass is what? It is empty. So, saying this glass is empty is realism. But the saying the glass is, full is not realism, it is pessimism. But the same glass, sorry, I forgot. It's empty. Saying this glass is empty is realism, and it's not pessimism. But seeing an empty glass and saying that it is full is not optimism, but it is stupidism. And I was giving that example of the Bata sales manager. Suppose the same glass is half empty, that means it is half filled with water. Now, what is the positive attitude of a person when perspective he sees with his buddhi? I told you, attitude means buddhi. When he sees that the glass is half empty, that it is half filled with water and half it is empty, he might say, oh, it is half full, or it is half filled. Half part is still empty. So he sees that other half. He sees from a negative perspective. That is a pessimistic attitude. Oh, why have got a glass which is only half filled? But a person with the optimistic perspective will see at least this is half filled. He will not see the other part. He will not see from the negative perspective. He will see from a positive perspective. So seeing things, depends on our perspective, and that is basically our perception of the mind and the evaluation of the intelligence. So there can be these different attitudes: optimism, stupidism, pessimism, realism. Now, here the doctor is diagnosed a patient and he says that you have cancer. But instead of accepting that I have cancer, which is realism, if you are, showing optimism, it's not optimism, it's stupidism. No, I don't have cancer, I'm perfectly fine. Then, it will not help you. But I have cancer, yes, accept that reality and have a positive attitude and start working on a medication or whatever treatment. And you might, with that optimistic attitude, fight the cancer and you might, recover. But you don't, say, no, I don't have cancer, I'm perfectly fine. That's not optimism, that is stupidism. So our attitude is what really, our perspective or our intelligence, how we train our intelligence, because only by intelligence one can advance in Krishna consciousness, how to see things from the right perspective. So that is what this statement means, and it's a very profound and a deep statement. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Okay. A follower of the Krishna conscious movement should become a perfect Goswami. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. So, everyone should become a perfect Goswami. Go means senses, Swami means one who has controlled the senses. And Prabhupada says Vaishnavas are called as Goswamis. In Vrindavan, this is the title by which the director of each temple is known. Now, interestingly, Prabhupada is saying that, yes, in Vrindavan, there is the Radha Raman temple, the Madan Mohan temple, and each of the directors of each of the temple is known as Goswami. So Prabhupada gave for us that title as temple president. So the first thing is, if you are having this title of a temple president, that means you have to be a Goswami. That is the criteria. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must first become a Goswami. Go means the senses and Swami means the master. So that is the meaning of Swami. Unless one controls his senses and minds, one cannot become a Goswami. So if you have not controlled your mind and senses, then you are not a Goswami. And how to do that? Text 1 is going to discuss quite in detail. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Upadeshamrit, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. So Srila Rupa Goswami is also a Goswami. So it's not that one has to just become a Goswami by controlling the mind and senses. Even the Gyanis and the Yogis have control over the mind and senses. In fact, they can have to some extent higher degree of control of mind and senses. But, you know, it's not the highest, just becoming a control of the mind and senses. After that, one has to become a pure devotee of the Lord. And to become a pure devotee of the Lord, one has to follow the instructions known as the Updeshamrit given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Okay. Okay, I have discussed this. A follower of the Krishna conscious movement should become a perfect Goswami. Oh, some of this is repeated here, huh? Yeah. Okay. Srila Rupa Goswami has given many other books, such as Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Vidagdha Madhav, and Lalita Madhav. But Updesh Amrit constitutes the first instruction for neophyte devotees. Very, very profound statement. Prabhupada says Updeshamrit constitutes the first instruction for neophytes. Neophytes means Kanishtadhikaris. Neophytes means one who come up with new fights, fighting. So one should not consider that, I'm 10 years in the movement, 15 years in the movement. But even if you're in 10 years, 15 years, you are simply in lower kg or upper kg. That's it. You have not entered into Shuddha Bhakti. Maybe somebody has been failing in lower kg and he has 10, 15 years spent there and he's preaching Shastra. It doesn't mean that, he's very advanced. He might be also. I'm just giving an example. So until one is a Kanishta Adhikari, he is a neophyte. And 10, 15 years spending in the movement, from Golok Vrindavan perspective, it's nothing. We are still neophytes from, Golok Vrindavan perspective or from the Uttamadhikari perspective. The highest devotees of the Krishna, the gopis of Vrindavan, who are the Uttamadhikaris from the Bhagavad perspective. So from their perspective, we are neophytes. So that's why one should study the Updeshamrit regularly. Now here something, Prabhupada is quoting, Rupa Goswami has given books like Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Vidagdha Madhav, Lalit Madhav. But Prabhupada is emphasizing us to study Updeshamrit because they are the first instructions for the beginners. And Prabhupada had published this Updeshamrit, and he wanted, to be distributed, these books to be distributed widely, even in schools and colleges. Where is the question of moral principles, how these people are going to have any sense of morality, and they should be taught Updeshamrit. That's what was Prabhupada's. He wanted this book to be published in large quantities and distributed widely. We might think, it's an internal book for, devotees practicing Krishna consciousness proper, but he wanted to introduce this, in schools and colleges so that they can control their mind and senses and have basic sense of morality. So definitely Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Updeshamrit are two important books, but Updeshamrit is the foremost. And in one sense, Updeshamrit is like rasa in summary. But the whole rasa incomplete, or the whole complete science of rasa is the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And that's why Prabhupada's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the complete science of devotional service, he says. That's what Prabhupada titles the Nectar of Devotion. So it's the complete science of rasa, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And rasa in action is these two dramas, Vidakta Madhav and Lalita Madhav. Vidakta Madhav are the Vrindavan pastimes, drama composed by Rupa Goswami. Lalita Madhav are the Dwarka pastimes of the gopis. Sorry, of the gopis is here Vidakta Madhava, of the Mahishis is the Lalita Madhava. How there is exchange of rasas. So there is rasa in summary in the form of Updeshamrit. There is the complete science of rasa in the form of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And there is rasa in action in the form of Vidat Madhav and Lalita Madhav. So all the science of rasa is there in these three books. But to study Vidat Madhav, Lalit Madhav, we need adhikar. But neophytes can study Updeshamrit and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu year after year, year after year, year after year. And then with the blessings of the spiritual master and our Shiksha Gurus, one can study later on these works, but one needs a very good knowledge of the science and components of rasa and little bit Sanskrit to understand these poetic works. These are Kavya Shastras which are difficult to understand. But Updeshamrit and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, yes, one should, regularly study. And as I mentioned, Updeshamrit is rasa in summary. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is the complete science of rasa. And Vidagd Madhav and Lalita Madhav are rasa in action. They are demonstration of the science of rasa. One should follow these instructions very strictly. As long as one doesn't follow strictly the instructions of Updeshamrit and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, one cannot again make advancement. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Only when we strictly follow Atyahara, Prayasa, Prajalpa. Now I am here in Kerala taking some treatment, Ayurvedic treatment, and we have only a small nursing home with 8 rooms. And practically, except one room, all of the rooms are occupied by devotees. And interestingly, in the afternoon, 2-3 hours, there's a lot of talking happening. It's not Krishna Katha, it's some Prajalpa. And what happens? Shadbir Bhaktir Vinashati. So one has to strictly follow these instructions given in Updeshamrit. Then one can, it is easier to make one's life successful. Then Prabhupada says September 20, 1975, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Vishwarup Mahotsav, Krishna Balram Mandir, Raman Reti, Vrindavan. That's where Prabhupada completed this book and his signature is there. And interestingly, this is Vishwarup Mahotsav, where, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's brother took sannyas, and it is also the day when Srila Prabhupada took his sannyas. So how important it is for us. And during this month itself, there is Haridas Thakur appearance of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the Vaman Dwadashi, and the Vishwarup Mahotsav, and the Srila Prabhupada Sannyas. So very important period here. Okay. So that completes our discussion on the preface. So as I mentioned, preface discusses the purpose of the book, purpose of Srila Rupa Goswami giving Updeshamrit. To understand the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to follow in his footsteps, one must seriously follow the footsteps of the six Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami was the leader of the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he has given this Updeshamrit to follow. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Satguna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Updeshamrit, which has been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. So, in this preface, it's in these four statements. What is the purpose Prabhupada has given or written the commentary on Updeshamrit is to understand the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by following the six Goswamis, to guide our activities, Updeshamrit, to come to the platform of goodness so that we can make progress, and to become a Goswami and then a pure devotee, one has to follow Updeshamrit. So that ends our discussion on the preface. Any questions, any clarifications you have up till now? 1, 2. Okay, so there are 2 questions, so I'll take only these 2 questions. Yes, Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. You said Vidagdha and Lalita Madhava and Rasa in action. So
Yes.
Vidagdha is a pastimes of gopis, and what is then Lalita Madhava?
The Vrindavan pastimes are there in Vidag Madhav. Lalita Madhav, the Dwarka pastimes of the... There are 2 conjugal rasas, Parakya and Swakiya. So the Swakiya is wedded love, which is there in Lalit Madhav. And in Vidag Madhav, there is the Parakya rasa. So as I was mentioning that just like you all know, if you've seen dramas, when you are seeing the drama, you're actually relishing, hasiras, bhayanagras, and all these moods and mellows are relished in the heart. So similarly, these dramas, Lalit Madhava and Vidat Madhava, are, rasa in action. That's what is the point I made. I hope it is clear.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay. Nandini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, wanted to know ki attitude, the advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on our attitude. So how do we understand ki our attitude, whether we are is right, wrong, or like are there any principles which we need to check every now and then about regarding our attitude? Because usually our behavior is very much depends on our like
Attitude.
yeah. So like is there any way how do we understand it?
That is what I mentioned. It's a very vast subject, attitude. Attitude, I mentioned as perspective, seeing things. You can see things positively from a positive perspective or from a negative perspective. And seeing means perception. Perception is done by the mind and then evaluated by the intelligence. So it is basically attitude means buddhi. So, like I mentioned about the glass which is half filled with water. And somebody sees only the upper portion. Oh, it is half empty, you say. That means he has got a negative attitude. And then somebody says, oh, at least it is half filled. So he's seeing from a positive attitude. So our attitudes towards everything within Krishna consciousness will determine our altitude or our advancement. So that sama buddhir vishishyate, I give that example, how we see things, So that is what we need to work on, and when we study the Updeshamrit, we are going to focus on this one statement, how Prabhupada is going to bring out in his purports in many of the verses of Updeshamrit, what is the kind of attitude we should have in terms of controlling the Vegas, in terms of civil six loving exchanges, in terms of advanced devotees, how we should see them. So all that, we'll be studying the Updeshamrit based on this attitude. So hold on, it will come up, and then you'll start getting, how to see things from a positive perspective. Is it okay for now?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Fine. So thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Updeshamrit ki jai. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. So from tomorrow we will begin text 1. Hare Krishna.